Julius Malema is at it again, but this time it's not a fiery speech or another headline-grabbing policy salvo, it's a promise turned into a public act of kindness. The economic freedom fighters leader has announced he will personally hand over a newly rebuilt house to a wheelchair-bound Limpopo resident, Sello Mamabolo, this coming Sunday, a moment that the EFF says will restore dignity, offer shelter and send a strong political message about caring for the vulnerable. The handover is not being done quietly. Party channels and local media list the event as an official EFF activity set for Sunday, November 2, 2025 at midday in Seshego, Polokwane, house number 1256, Zone 1, Ward 13, and invites the public to come and witness the ceremony. In recent years, Malema has turned acts of public giving into highly visible events. There are humanitarian gestures, yes, but they are also political theater that underscore his brand of activism and the EFF's grassroots approach. So who is Sello Mamabolo and why does this moment matter? Reports and social posts from the EFF point to Mamabolo as a man who has lived with limited mobility and who lacked adequate housing adjusted to his needs. The story being told in local press and EFF communications is straightforward. A disabled man was living in conditions that made everyday life difficult, and the party, led by its commander-in-chief, stepped in to provide a fully reconstructed, accessible home. For many viewers, that mix of human drama and tangible help is exactly the kind of restorative politics they want to see. There are multiple layers to unpack here beyond the feel-good moment. First, the optics. Malema's presence turns a private act, giving a house, into a public event that amplifies the message of the EFF's commitment to the poor and disabled. Whether you love him or hate him, Malema knows how to stage moments that get measured in headlines, photos and social shares. The EFF's social media posts have already circulated pictures and an invitation, and local news outlets are framing the handover as both a humanitarian achievement and a political statement about the EFF's priorities. Second, accountability and follow-through matter. Promises of houses and community projects are nothing new in South African politics. What distinguishes meaningful work from mere publicity is whether the home is built to standard, whether the recipient receives title or secure occupancy, and whether follow-up support, ramps, sanitary access, maintenance is provided. The EFF's public schedule suggests this is a completed, reconstructed house ready for handover, a welcome detail for viewers who are rightly suspicious of political photo-ops that end the instant the cameras leave. Journalists on the ground will be watching for things like transfer of keys, documentation and whether the structure is genuinely accessible for Mamabolo's needs. Third, there's the political ripple. Malema giving a house in Limpopo is also a nod to the province's symbolic importance. Limpopo has been central to Malema's rise and to debates about redistribution, patronage and political loyalty in South Africa. By delivering a concrete benefit here, the EFF bolsters its grassroots narrative and challenges rival parties on both compassion and competence. Local leaders and opposition parties will note the crowd, the cameras and the way the story is framed, because heartening gestures can become campaign ammunition if they're repeated and properly documented. For content creators and viewers who love nuance, there's plenty to follow after the handover. The media reaction, the EFF's framing on X and Instagram, whether Mamabolo is granted formal title or support services, and how this event feeds into the EFF's messaging ahead of future local engagements. Expect reaction pieces from other parties, interviews with Mamabolo and neighbors, and, in the best case, an honest look at whether the house genuinely improves his daily life. If viewers want more than optics, they should ask about documentation, long-term access to care, and whether similar efforts will be rolled out systematically rather than sporadically. This handover also raises a broader question about the role of political parties in direct service delivery. In South Africa's contested political landscape, parties often fill gaps left by underperforming municipal services. That dual role, campaigning while delivering, can benefit recipients but also blur lines between charity and political campaigning. Observers will be interested in how the EFF frames the house, as a nonpartisan humanitarian act, or as part of a concerted mobilization strategy. Either way, the human impact remains central. A man who needed accessible housing will, if all goes as announced, have his life materially improved. If you want to witness the moment with context, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll be tracking the handover live, summarizing the media coverage, and bringing you follow-ups about ownership, accessibility, and the broader political fallout. We'll pass the speeches, show the key images, and ask the hard questions about sustainability, because one house handed over is a powerful thing, but systemic solutions require sustained policy and implementation. Expect short explainers, document checks, title deeds, transfers, and on-the-ground interviews if the party releases more footage. For now, mark your calendar. Sunday at 12 o'clock in Seshego could be a warm-hearted human story, a political masterstroke, or both. Either way, it's the kind of moment that brings people together around a very simple idea: everyone deserves a dignified home. We'll be there to show you what really happened, who benefited, and what it means for the politics of care in South Africa. Don't miss it.